Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I Can't Drive 55.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Drive, which came out in 1997, directed by Steve Wang. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows Mark Dacascos' character, Toby Wang. Toby has just escaped from Hong Kong with a special experimental device inside his body that makes him go hyper fast and beat up lots of people. He plans to head to America to sell it for $5 million to another company, but as he's being chased by all these different triad gangs, he hooks up with Malik Brody, played by Kadeem Hardison. The two of them have to try to get Toby to a safe place.
I was a big fan of this director before even realising sort of who it was. I didn't realise he was the same director as Drive.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up, a lot of people were getting into Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the director that made one of my favourite childhood films, Guyver.
I've heard that a lot.
And he also did the follow-up, Guyver Dark Hero.
Yeah.
Which is basically Power Rangers for adults.
Oh, okay. I should wiki it.
He is a special effects person.
Yeah.
That's where he's come from. He worked on films like Predator.
Right, okay.
The original design.
Yeah, right.
He was working on that. He also worked on Gremlins 2, the new batch.
Okay. Yeah.
He worked on Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Oh, nice.
He worked on Idle Hands. So he's had his hand in a lot of special effects. But he always had this script idea about Drive.
Yeah.
And just really wanted to deliver this film. And I just think that it's a shame that this film, when it was finished, the studio got their hands on it and were just like, we don't like entirely what you've done.
No.
So we're going to change the soundtrack of the entire film. We're going to shave off 15 to 20 minutes of the film. And even after that, we're just going to release it straight to DVD so that no one ever discovers this film. Because in the era of the late 90s, straight to DVD was just a death sentence. It's not like today where amazing films just get released straight to digital or straight to DVD, and bypass the Hollywood system. In the 90s, if you went straight to DVD, forget it. It's over.
Yeah.
I had this film.
You still have this film.
I still have this film. And I still champion this film and try to get as many people to watch it as possible. And most people go,
no.
That's got that Mark Dacascos guy in it.
Mark Dacascos, yeah.
Yeah, that awesome actor from The Brotherhood of the Wolf. You should watch it because it's got that guy in it. And most people will tell me, no.
That's it, dude. That's all the only film you got. Like, he was in that amazing Brotherhood of the Wolf film. Any other films he was in? Amazing, like...
Not ones that I wish to mention.
Right, exactly, right. Yeah. I remember this guy from The Crow, Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
And obviously, Crow City of Angels had already come out and had kind of smashed and destroyed the franchise of The Crow. So everything else that would follow after, I was like, no, you are smeared, you are tainted. And so when I saw the TV series come out and I saw this Mark Dacascos actor appear, who has a very striking resemblance to Brandon Lee. And I think that was a big selling point for him. He's got an American Asian look about him. He's a bit of a martial artist. We're just still trying to get over the fact of Brandon Lee. So let's utilize this guy as much as we can. And yeah, you are right. It's an absolute shame that this guy ended up just being held back by everybody and everything. But then I don't think he did anything great. Until personally I saw him in Hawaii Five-0 years and years ago when he appeared as the head of the triad gang, Wo Fat. And even though he wasn't in the series for that much, he had this intimidating presence. And I always did kind of want him to crack out some of the martial artist moves like I'd seen and heard that he was known for. But he because the character that he was portraying in the TV series wasn't like that, he never did. There's a couple of fisticuffs, but nothing major. Gary would try to shove this film in my face since 1998, 1999. Like, you've got to watch Drive. And I always saw the front cover with Mark Dacascos on the front, looking like he moves really, really fast. Like the poster was telling me that this was kind of like a cheap version of The Matrix. Weirdly enough, though, it had come out before The Matrix. So it actually was trying to set stuff that The Matrix would try to steal. You know, we start off with him with Toby on a boat. You know, surrounded by your traditional standard triad Chinese gang. Like, I couldn't work out, like, he's come to America. That's the American dock he's in. He's not in the Hong Kong dock. So, you know, he's there. And he's just trying to, obviously, he's trying to get off the boat so that he can head to this company so he can sell this thing for $5 million. But obviously he's being hunted by a cowboy played by John Pyper-Ferguson, and the cowboy's called Vic. I mean, I immediately knew as soon as this guy stepped on board this boat dressed as a cowboy that this film was just really silly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a brilliant blend tonally of comedy and action and and that's it really. That is it. And that's what I really wanted from this film is you get the buddy cop formula later.
Yeah.
But right now it is just about the comedy and the action.
Yeah, well the film sets it up very much that it's mainly, you know, Toby's story. Like he beats the crap out of a lot of these people, and then they try to shoot his legs, which he just kind of hops all over the place.
Because they've been told to bring him in alive.
Yeah,
So.
And then he escapes over the side of the boat. So you're like, right, okay, so this is how the chase sequence starts. He heads to a local bar and meets up with a guy called Malik in there. Now, Malik, played by Kadeem Hardison, I've only really seen in one thing, and that was Vampire in Brooklyn.
Right,
where he played Eddie Murphy's kind of ghoul.
Yeah.
You know, but we see him sat there at the bar and he's trying to write songs because his wife and girlfriend has left him. And Toby walks into the bar and sits down, and the two of them just start kind of chatting. And then a fucking massive shootout just turns up. like I can't take that away from the film. Like, the action was continuous.
Yes.
You know, there are a couple of lows in the film, but I felt that those lows were there because I really just wanted to get back to more silly action sequences.
Yeah, well, I found that the dialogue bits and the interactions between the characters really were just there, just to give you that pacing, give you that breather before the next action sequence.
Yeah, but let's make this clear before we get too far in it. You watched the standard version of Drive.
I've seen both versions, but this time around I just watched the theatre.
I watched the director's cut of Drive, and I'd never seen Drive before, so I'm watching the director's cut, and a lot of the sequences that they had cut out, did need to be cut out. It dragged on certain conversation pieces, which by the time they brought it up, I didn't care. And it was...
The main reason why the director was really upset with the studio cutting all those sequences was because it made the main character of Toby just look like a mercenary who just wanted to be paid, and the initial release cut out any sort of backstory, or it cut out all of his backstory where it mentions his brother, his girlfriend.
Oh yeah. Well, you see, that kind of stuff didn't cement his story to me. Like, I got he was an ex-assassin, but I couldn't work out properly if he was an ex-assassin who had worked for this company for a long time and now realized it was really, really bad. Or if he'd been an assassin who had just signed up to this company and realized that everything was really, really bad.
Yeah.
The stuff about his brother, I like the stuff about his girlfriend. When I looked at that picture on the boat, I'm like, that's either who he's fighting for or who he's trying to get revenge for. He doesn't tell me. I just see this message, and it pops up a couple more times throughout the film where I'm like, that's his girlfriend. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, having those scenes in there just it gave Toby more personality, more character, other than just, I just want to get paid today.
Yeah, keep it just on the girlfriend, though.
Yeah.
I didn't fully understand what his relationship with the girlfriend was, so I needed more. You drop the girlfriend stuff and you go, hey, guess what? He can sing and dance with his brother. And
I actually partially concede that you are kind of right in that in both versions. I like both versions. I really like the film.
Yeah.
But with the studio release of the film, the pace being down, the pace being what it is, condensed down to 1 hour 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Actually, it goes at a breakneck pace.
Pace, yeah.
Because I already know who the character is. I already know he's not just in it for the money. There are other factors to it. But adding another 20 minutes into the film, it does bog it down a little bit.
It does. I mean, like I said, if I would have just easily understood the whole girlfriend thing right from the start. He looked at that picture. Yeah, this guy's a badass killer and can beat the shit out of people. But he's looking at the picture of his girlfriend and she's telling him that she loves him. So there's an emotional connection there for me. You know, it doesn't. They don't keep it up enough. And like I said, I'm watching it for 2 hours. I'm like, beat the fuck out of somebody for fuck's sake. Toby just whoops ass. I mean, I'll give Mark Dacascos credit. There's not a sequence in this film, other than the final fight sequence, where he doesn't whoop ass. Like, he whoops everybody's ass.
Yeah. And so after the fight in the bar, he kind of has Malik at gunpoint. Yeah. And Toby's just like, all right, guns down. And then the police come in.
Yeah.
And then the cowboy kind of cowers on the floor.
Yeah, he's like, oh my God, they killed him. I'm like...
And so Toby takes Malik at gunpoint.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't move or I'll kill him. And then takes him hostage.
Yeah.
Takes him all the way out to his car. And then they speed off.
Yeah. And that's where Toby explains to Malik that he needs him to drive to LA. Which I'm not entirely sure where Malik was, but he makes it out that it's a very, very far, long journey. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, he's been taken hostage. Like I said, I'd seen the poster a number of times. The amount of times Gary waved the DVD in my face over 10 years saying, you got to watch this. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I never knew there was a guy called Malik in this who gets taken hostage.
Yeah, I love his car.
Yeah,
but it gets wrecked.
Wrecked.
There's a car chase. He ends up crashing the car. It gets shot at.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it. This is all Malik has. You know, Malik has lost his wife and his son and his house, and this is why he's a fucking bar cockroach, just drinking every day. But now he's got the chance of making some money, so he's gonna take it. But we cut to Vic and Hedgehog. Now, the film is silly, and a lot of the sequences do start with Vic and Hedgehog. Hedgehog, played by Tracy Walter, he's one of those guys. He's that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I remember him as Bob the Goon from 1989's Batman. And I also remember him as the professor from How High, who helps Method Man and Redman win their case. You know, this guy has practically been in everything and anything.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be surprised to find a movie that doesn't have him in, but he's in this, and he's Vic's buddy, sidekick,
right,
brother. I don't know, but the two of them just sit in a Winnebago, and he's watching. Oh my God, I couldn't fucking believe what the fuck I was watching, but he's watching this program called Walter the Einstein Frog.
Yeah. It's great. They're asking the frog how to save this guy's life.
Yeah, there was a point, honestly, I'd rather carried on watching this than drive, because I was like, I want to see if the frog wins.
There's a sequence later where they realise that they're in a flying spaceship.
Yeah, there's lasers and shit. Oh, it's fucking crazy. But yeah, Hedgehog is just fucking eating.
He's always eating throughout the film.
Always eating. I'm like, is he a psychopath? Is he like a bad?
Yeah.
Is he going to turn up like towards the end of the movie and pull off like a really big shootout and you're like, oh, that's the guy's skills? No, I don't know. But they're hunting this object, and we contact Mr. Takagi, played by James Shiguta, who's actually playing Mr. Lau in this. And they are the company that have created the biological energy module, the drive device that Toby has had put inside him. Now, I always imagined that this thing that Toby was inside him was like the main crux of the story.
Not really. I mean, well, it is and it isn't. It's the MacGuffin, you know?
But this dude is carrying it. They're all attempting to capture him and not kill him for it. You know, like the whole film chase sequence is about it, but much like the family stuff, there's not enough in it to really hook my attention. You know, yeah, okay, he's a great martial artist, but, you know, and we see the device in Mr. Lau's office, but I'm like, where is it? Is it in his heart? Is it next to his chest? Is it in his head? Is it in his bowels?
I have one in my chest.
Really? Wow, that's a pretty amazing coincidence, Toby, because I have one in my ass. Yeah.
Like, they'd say, like, we can't kill him because the device will stop working if the host dies.
I guess.
They've got no problem shooting him in the legs. There's a sequence in the bar where the guys are like, shoot him in the legs, and he just jumps upside down and beats shoots them all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, right, so you can kneecap him.
Right.
You know, what about in the arms?
Tried.
Yeah, what about shooting him in the arms? But that's it. Like I kept expecting the device to activate and him to go faster and, you know, be everybody else to be slower. But it doesn't. Everybody just moves at the same speed.
Yeah.
Just he hits harder and quicker than everybody else.
Yeah.
Right, okay then, as long as we got that established.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds like Beaver Cleaver saying fire engine.
No, it's high-tech slang.
The two of them get pulled over, Toby and Malik, by some cops. And I just love that little nod there where it's like, what's your name to Toby? And Toby's like, I'm Sammo Hung. Who, if you don't know, Gary is a martial artist.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm aware.
Just in case you missed out on that joke. And they get pulled off to a quarry, which just happened to be quite close nearby, you know, because this is where Hedgehog and Vic have been hiding, expecting them to come along.
I don't know, it's just Goon HQ, so...
Yeah, that's it. We started to find out later on that they do have a tracking device in the device, so these first initial catch-ups are them just utilising it. But it just seemed really silly because they handcuff Malik to Toby, but they stand there for like 5 minutes just laughing and joking. You're not going to get away this time, are you? No, you're not. He gets away.
Yeah. And it's another spectacular fight sequence where you've got all these guys with guns and they're just like, we're totally useless because we're just getting smacked. It's like, can't shoot them from range.
No, they are terrible. But they do have this cool little three-way dance.
The stunt work with the two of them being handcuffed to each other and then the moves that they can pull off whilst being tied up.
Yeah.
It's really effective. You know, I mean, you can see the points where they're both running away and, you know, they kind of are not on the same page with each other because they keep making mistakes. But it's really the way that Toby kind of utilizes Malik. That's tied to him and uses him like a weapon.
Yeah, just literally throws him all over the place. And Malik starts to get into it now.
Yeah.
You know, initially he's like, oh my God, I've been kidnapped and I'm a hostage, you know, I'm going to die. But now he starts to realise that Toby is not the bad guy, which is really nice because the buddy system starts to come in there where they start to work with each other and you're like, oh, that's good, you know, because you don't really want Malik to die. You know, he's such a, I wouldn't say he's a big emotional character, but, you know, he's the innocent in all this, you know, and you kind of don't want Toby to die because, you know, he's the good guy. You kind of want all the bad guys to die because you don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they're just the goon squad.
The goon squad. You know, they're just your traditional A-standard sign here. Yeah, you ain't going home tonight, Mr. fucking Goon.
You get that set piece then where they kind of wrap the metal bar of the handcuffs over the thing and slide all the way down.
Take the bucket off so he does and the hook just slides down. He's like, we needed that.
I love the shot afterwards where they kind of dip their hands into the barrel of water and it's all bubbling.
That was it. I just started to follow every action sequence with a comedy sequence. You know, it made me kind of think more of we were discussing this before we started, like the comparisons we had with Rush Hour, but you know, this is silly action where Rush Hour tries to be quite serious in certain places, but there's you can see a lot of elements that they would have stolen, or I don't want to say stolen, but they procure ideas for themselves from the usage of Drive.
Yeah. Now we get to a kind of a serious moment where after they've escaped, kind of conveniently the car was just outside, managed to drive back to Malik's place. And then, you know, there's more character building stuff here where we realise about Malik and the relationship with his wife.
Yeah.
There is a deleted sequence where they kind of go into the kids' room and there's more backstory for Toby as well.
Yes, like we said though, it's the story wasn't enough of the hook. There's a lot of character building stuff there, but in an action orientated chase movie, it's not what you want. You know, if you have it in there, you are just slowing the pace down a hell of a lot, and it's not what you want in an action, you know, chase movie. You just want to keep the guys going from point A to point B to point C to point D. You know, when it got to the wife stuff, I didn't have that kid stuff, but I got really confused because there's a picture with the wife and the new husband, boyfriend, and the kid. And so I'm like, how long have they been separated for? That she's moved this guy in, because I'm assuming this is Malik's house, I don't know. You know, she's moved this guy in and they've replaced all of the pictures of Malik. You know? The kid is now calling him the new dad. What the fuck's that all about? And we did see the ex-wife turn up. And I recognised her face as Lex from AVP.
Sana Latham.
I was like, oh, hi. Go away.
Yeah, and the scene is kind of short-lived where they end up leaving.
Yeah.
But Toby's just like, he spots her looking out the window, spotted the way she looked at him before that, and it's just like, hey, Malik, your wife still loves you. Go sort that out, will you?
Yeah, that happens a lot in this film. Either Toby or Malik look at each other and go, hey, I've only known you for 5 minutes, but you should do this about your life. Yes, that's going to change everything about me. Thanks for that. I'm so glad I got into this situation with you. like this guy, like this ex-husband or new husband, you know, he just gets called a cheeseburger by his wife and her ex-husband, and you know he's going to get dumped for no reason other than being a supportive person. You know, Malik makes him out to be a complete bastard, but we don't know. Like, oh, you left my son with this person. Malik, you're sat at a bar all day. You know? Unless you've got actual physical evidence to show me that this new husband is a violent, physical, sexual, abusive piece of shit, he's actually doing a better job than you.
Yeah.
But they don't expand on that.
Baby, this motherfucker is straight out of Nebraska
He
corn.
might be a cheeseburger, but that's better than being an aimless, irresponsible fool.
But Malik decides to leave Toby at a bus station because it's probably easier for him to just go off and keep Malik out of the situations. But he sees a bunch of...
He's the next goon squad.
Yeah, the next goon squad who are already at the bus station go in to attack Malik. And Malik saves him. You know, he beats the crap out of them. They jump in the car and they drive off. And they have this little musical number in the car. It kind of reminded me of Evolution, you know, when they're dancing as well. You know, or Jay and Silent Bob, just The Crow.
It's the road trip
and
movie,
Kenny's
you know?
But it's like the seriousness goes completely out the window at these points.
Well, it's
and then
because
you got to kind of scramble to pull it
that's
back in
because
again.
Malik's now been told that he's going to earn $2.5 million if
Yes.
he gets him there.
Yeah.
So he's kind of pretty happy. You
Yeah.
know, he's had the moments to think about it, and he's like, well, if I want to get my life back on track and fix my marriage, $2.5 million will go a long way to doing that.
Yeah. So we'll fill the time with a racially charged conversation about if everybody over Hong Kong performs kung fu.
If they all just go around kicking the shit out of each other. I was like, it's quite funny. Because he says, you know, all Americans, that's what we think. We just think that the Chinese just go around kicking the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And I love Toby's response where he's just like, yeah, well, over in China, all we think about is how you Americans kick the shit out of each other with less gracefully.
Well, that's the same image we have of America. Except you guys have big feet and you kick the shit out of each other less gracefully.
I can see that.
But we cut to the Lang Corp, the Luang Corp over in Hong Kong, and Mr. Takagi has activated the upgrade. We don't actually know his name. I just called him Upgrade all the way through the film because he is the upgrade. And this one guard who I assume tried to kill, or was part of the team that tried to kill Toby and failed and has come back, and he gets a coin flicked through his throat.
Yeah, that was badass.
Ooh, that was badass. Like how to show how.
Yeah,
deadly
that
this
guy was on the
motherfucker
boat in the first sequence.
Ah, right. But that's it. He's in the boat because that's what confused me with the dog.
Yeah, then he's gone back.
Right, so
Yeah.
so in the time that Malik and Toby have been driving around America, this guy's like, right, I'm in real big trouble with my boss. I best fly all the way back to Hong Kong so he doesn't kill me. He killed you.
Yeah.
But they stop Malik and Toby at a motel, and one of the best moments I think about this film, one of the main reasons I'm going to say, go on a limb now, why you should watch this film, is for a performance from an actress who I don't really believe got enough credit for how she worked, and died very suddenly at a very young age. The ever gorgeous and completely fucking astounding Brittany Murphy playing Deliverance, the motel owner.
This woman is touched.
Oh, God.
She is not all there. She's not in control of all of her faculties. She is like a breath of fresh air into the film as well.
She is. I wish she'd stayed with them
She's
a lot
like
longer.
super innocent yet super seductive at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just, you're just trying to gauge, like, how has she been left to run this entire motel? And she's like, oh, parents are away.
I reckon she fucked everybody that came in there. Because that's kind of the way
The vibe that she gives off, the way that she's flirting with Malik.
And Toby. Like, she'd take both of them if she could. You know, she's like, oh, I'm so bored. I've been waiting for somebody to come around. The way she plays with her hair and the way she stares.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
there's only ever one performance I can never really get behind with Brittany Murphy, but it's mainly because of the character that she plays, and it's in Girl Interrupted,
Sure,
where
yeah.
she plays the daughter who's being molested by her dad. You know, she plays it absolutely fucking
she's
amazing.
an incredible actress.
She's incredible. You know, I loved her in Sin City. I even really liked her in 8 Mile and Clueless. You know, because like you said, in a lot of these films, she was just this really nice breath of fresh air that came in, did a few scenes, and then popped off again. But you were like, oh man, I miss her. You know, and especially in this, especially when, like, I did not believe Malik could fix up that car.
No.
Like, I did not believe. But then when Deliverance walks in the garage and whips off that sheet and shows that yellow hot rod, I'm like, yeah, she made that. You're like, I totally believe that she put that together. Right. You know, Malik, you ain't got fucking shit on this girl. You need her to fix your shit. You know? But yeah, they start to get quite close. You know, but he's keeping her at arm's length because we've had the whole ex-wife thing.
And he wants to repair that. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of the awkward, flirtatious, but arm's length kind of relationship.
Yeah, and she seems really innocent and young. Like, you don't, like, mid-20s, maybe. Maybe she's acting kind of younger than that, I'm not sure. But he sends her off to Toby's room to play with Toby, I suppose. And Vic and all of the next load of goon squad, like, they just had a catalogue
Oh, yeah.
of stuff. They're like, man, we need a couple of more M16 guys, a couple of bike riders. Oh, man, you know what? Get some of those shotgun dudes. Those guys really work well. Yeah, but they miss so badly. Yeah, but...
We haven't got the budget for them, though.
Oh.
So we're just going to get the ones with the electric batons instead.
Oh, yeah, electric batons, because that totally works. And...
This is a great fight sequence
It
because
is.
it is in such a small, confined room.
It is, yeah.
And, you know, the way they had to choreograph the fight to make it work, I love it. I also love that moment where the fight takes a break.
Yeah.
And he puts the shoes on his hands like gloves. You know, they get the whole sound effect and then him mocking towards them. And then the fight breaks out again and he's blocking, punching, kicking.
Yeah.
And then the after shot where the boots are just melted from all the electric baton hits. But, you know, it's during this fight sequence, I was just like, wow, you know, the camera work and the editing is really good. Because I was sat there, I was like, I'm just going to count the edits in this sequence.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I was forgetting to count some of the edits because of how fluid the camera moved into each of those edits.
In such a small...
It was the
you know,
way
they utilize
that
it.
the camera as well, you know, if the punch was going forward, the camera was going forward. If the kick was spinning around the back, the camera would kind of go with it. It kind of had the same movement. It wasn't like the cameraman just stood there and shook the camera because this is a high frenetic kind of impact fight sequence.
But they escape from the motel. Like, Toby has whooped everybody's fucking ass. And Vic is so pissed off. He picks up a triple rocket launcher.
That's awesome.
Like, I don't even know if that definitely does not really exist. Like, the momentum from the rocket launching out of that would have pushed him forward like 20 feet. You know, so firing all three would have just launched him off into space. But he fires and blows up the whole fucking motel, and Deliverance is so pissed off. So I got really... So Toby steals a bazooka from the Winnebago and blows up their RV.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember where he got that bazooka from.
Yeah. They just stole it from the goons who've just got the surplus amount of weapons.
And blows up their Winnebago like, you know, an eye for an eye and all that shit. And you're like... Okay. But they decide to drop off Deliverance at a cafe and leave her, which I kind of felt that was a bit wasted, honestly. Like I said, I didn't know Drive was a buddy movie. And so when I got Malik, I wasn't a bit sure about it, but I started to kind of go with it. And then when I saw Brittany Murphy there, I was like, oh man, I really hope she stays with it. Like a three-way dance of having a laugh all the way towards the end of the film. But they're like, nope, we're leaving her here, and we're just going to carry on with Toby and Malik. And I'm like, oh, all right, fine. So when they arrive at Apollo 14, the bar and grill, this is where they're meeting up with their contact to sell the device.
Yeah, straight away I was just like, nah, it's a trap. It's a villain. Like this guy's working for the company that you're running away from. But no, it actually turns out that is the actual.
Yeah, and he owns a bar and grill out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, and he just thought this would be a great place to secure them, and he gives them the first down payment. Of cash on the table.
He gets rid of the
tracking device. Takes the tracking device out of him. And we'd heard Toby mention before that that he can sing, and they're in a karaoke bar.
Oh yeah, just in case you didn't realise, Apollo 14, the bar and grill.
And so now we have a musical number.
You're too cool, Malik Rosie, to let one mistake make you feel the way you do. Whoa, you remember
That's me singing about.
I mean, come on, Gary. Do you really want me to take this fucking seriously?
No.
This shit. Like, when the fuck can I ever take an action movie serious when the main fucking star, who's a badass, he's been a badass all the way through the fucking film, breaks into song? Like,
Yeah. So, I don't have to take the film seriously to lose any enjoyment from it.
I'll admit, I partially lost enjoyment on this because it was a drag-out sequence. I was watching the director's cut. There was an additional extra half hour into a movie I didn't actually think needed it. There was a lot of talking points to fill up. I wouldn't say plot holes, but holes in the script which the main plot device wasn't able to fill. And now we get to this sequence where. Like if you hadn't watched the sequence where he explains that him and his brother sang together, like this whole singing part is not going to make any sense. Like, is he singing to get the attention of the guy he's trying to sell the device to, or is he just singing because he can?
Yeah, he's celebrating. He's met the contact. He's it's everything's going to be okay now, kind of thing.
Right, so luckily the upgrade turns up to stop this whole sequence from actually continuing. And the upgrade is just a
Terminator.
Oh, he's just an Asian actor in a fucking trench coat and looks like a badass. And just in case you did not get the fact that this is going to be the final fight sequence, we have bikers fly through the windows on each side.
That's how you cement a climax.
Yeah, but right, guys, we've got to make a big entrance. So he's going to go through the doors. Everyone else pull the ramps up to the side windows, okay? And then we're all going to ride in and just shoot the place up.
Yeah, and they kill fucking everybody.
Couldn't we all just walk in behind him and just shoot everyone? Nope.
There's no style in that.
Nope, because we spent the budget on the bikes. And that's why we couldn't afford the shotgun guys for the film. So we need to utilise the bikes. And they do. They fucking shoot up everywhere. That poor guy in that body thing. Like, you haven't seen one of them since the fucking 90s.
No.
Yeah, like, he's still in it. Like, they haven't
just a skeleton in it
just
now.
a skeleton in there, But he gets fucked up. And I love it when they say, like, what's the plan? It's plan A, don't get shot.
That's a pretty good plan.
It's a pretty good fucking plan.
But you see the three agents that they met up with are kind of ducking behind the tables, but they just get obliterated by by those on the bikes. But Toby and Malik, they managed to kick the crap out of the entire goon squad. Yeah. Including the cowboy guy and everybody else, and then it is just a final showdown.
Oh god, there's a horrible sequence where Vic and Hedgehog are stood outside watching all of the patrons coming out of Apollo 14, but it's all fucking it's a miniature imposed onto the back set, and it looks so fucking shit. It's a deleted scene, but I'm sat there like, that looks fucking terrible. And then luckily they go inside.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the miniature work. I know it's in some sequences it doesn't look like it's been composited right, but I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, forgive it.
Malik beats up Hedgehog and Vic, but Vic pulls out a whip and starts whipping Malik. And so there's a whole bit of a racism thing there going on.
Let me tell you something. Don't you ever pull a whip on a black man again.
But Upgrade and Toby are having their fight, and Toby is getting his ass whooped. He's been kind of suffering throughout half the movie from the effects of the turbo drive, even though we don't fully understand how it works, or like if he's supposed to eat or sleep. I mean, it makes him faster and tireder, so he's supposed to sleep more, but he hasn't been able to sleep much. So he starts getting his ass whooped by the Upgrade, but then he picks up a broom and breaks it off, so he gets this tiny little stick. Like, I'd have utilised the whole fucking broom. You know, like, you got a big massive head, he would have dodged that, but he breaks it and he like breaks off this tiny little bit of stick and then uses the stick to help him beat the fuck out of the Upgrade.
Which works, yeah. He even gets to do his little combat pose afterwards.
Oh yeah, you know, it's just it's a great little fight sequence, you know, building up all the way to the fact that the Upgrade is now losing until Mr. Takagi initiates the overload sequence so that everybody will die.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. He initiates the overload sequence just to make sure that his new upgraded system just can get up and fight better. You know, he upgrades his adrenaline, his reaction speed, and everything else.
Yeah, but what did he think the whole goal was going to be at the end of this thing? That the overload was going to kill it and kill everything else. If the overload, if the machine wasn't able to stop himself.
He was testing the limits of his new prototype improved experiment on the old one.
Oh yeah.
And the new one kind of burns out and gets defeated by the original drive system.
That's it. It's a failing system. But to initiate an overload, like the woman says to him, like, you know, who's it terminate? And he says everyone. So he wants this thing to kill everything.
No, he
in
doesn't.
The room.
He wants all the systems to be engaged.
There's been a fluctuation in the adrenaline level. His body may be nearing the point of exhaustion.
Boost the implants into overdrive.
Which ones?
Everyone.
That's what he's saying.
Right. So he
doesn't want everyone dead. He wants every system engaged.
There's no backpedaling. I want it all instigated. I want this thing to overload to defeat this thing, but we don't know what's going to happen after. You know, because it starts to short circuit. You know, it starts to get the advantage over Toby, but then it starts to short down to the point where Toby's able to grab it and defeat it.
Yeah.
He hits the fucking Upgrade with a bike and the bike dies, and him and Malik start to walk out. But we've just seen that Mr. Takagi has an army of these fucking things, so it's alright.
Sequel.
Yeah, if he loses one for 5 million, he's got like 20 still left. But Vic is still alive, and Vic tries to attempt to blow up Malik and Toby, but they
managed to wrestle the devices out of his hands.
Slow motion turnaround realization the enemy is behind us.
Yeah.
Tick that box.
Yeah.
Pull the explosives, kick him away, press the explosive so he explodes, but takes out the whole entire building in a really bad superimposed, terribly special effect.
The slow-mo running away from the explosion behind you. Awful compositing. It just awful. You can see the lighting is completely wrong.
And then they walk away slowly into the distance, realizing that they haven't got the $5 million, so they're going to have to go find somewhere else.
Yeah. And so, the film just ends with them still on their way to where they need to get to. Not quite there yet, but, you know, the upgraded system's been destroyed, the goon squad's been defeated. It's just the main
Mr. Lau's still alive. He's
he's deploying another 20 of them to come get him. Yeah, but that's another story. So, Iain, favourite scenes from Drive?
I have a few. Let's shoot his legs while he's on the pool table. And so he immediately just jumps up into the air and turns upside down and shoots them all. But it's the fact that they all run up to the pool table when he jumps on top of it and they all point their guns at his face. And then the guy goes, no, they're legs. And so they all point their guns down and just give him like enough time to formulate a plan and defeat them all. I was just like, well, that was stupid. Goon Squad, A-OK. I love the little Where the Party At Drive Along. Like, I'd never heard that song before, and I've been listening to it for the last 3 days after that sequence. Like, it's a cool fucking song. I like that song. Brittany Murphy. There's not really much to say there other than Brittany Murphy. I mean, she was gorgeous. You know,
Yeah.
She was a great actress. She worked really fucking hard. I don't think she got the credit that she deserved. And, you know, I saw her in some great performances. And, yeah, all right, she's in Drive. But she's gorgeous. I like her dark hair. I'd love her to flirt with me like that. Imagine getting to heaven and Brittany Murphy just acts like that with you all the time. That'd be great.
Damn.
Yeah. And my last favourite scene, even though I don't believe it should ever should have been filmed, but it did break up the pace a bit and was quite funny, was Toby singing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Deliverance Bodine is such a special character. Brittany Murphy really kind of elevated the film with her presence.
Yeah.
So memorable.
Yeah.
I loved Toby putting on the shoes for gloves, and then that whole fight sequence. I loved the rocket launcher, the 3-shot rocket launcher. And I love the the one-liner that he has before taking out the henchman that's been following him this whole time when he's strapped with dynamite and he says, "Time to blow."
Time to blow. Time to blow?
And you can see Malik's
Malik's
just like, really?
Really?
Time to blow? That's your one-liner?
That's the best you can come up with. Like,
Yeah.
like we waited 2 hours for that.
That's great. I really do have to recommend Drive. I've always recommended Drive. This film is a remarkable achievement in fight choreography, direction, and editing, as every fight feels fluid, natural, and real. The story is a really simple one, but the fast-paced dialogue, the gun battles, the flying kicks, that held my interest all the way to the end. The characters really work with each other. There's some great chemistry between the actors. I find this a really entertaining action film. It's filled with inventive fights, good comedy, and, for me, a satisfying conclusion. This is a hidden gem that went straight to DVD, but it's worth owning, and for me, it's always worth rewatching. I've always loved this film, still do.
I don't recommend Drive, but I mean, I suppose I do recommend it if you want to see what the big fucking deal is. I've never wanted to watch this film. Gary got the film on DVD and was like, "Hey, you want to watch it?" And as soon as I saw Mark Dacascos on the front, I was like, hell no. Just he isn't a great movie actor, and maybe it's the plots, maybe it's the parts that he's been in, maybe it's the script, maybe it's the way he works it. I don't know. Just like there's just nothing in it that makes me go, "Hey, yeah, I want to watch that." I mean, I'm sure he was in Double Dragon and Crying Freeman. He did a lot of, I think, live action, Japanese anime live action movies back in the 90s. It was really kind of, I saw and was like, no, just no. The comedy elements between him and Malik, like, I like the buddy cop stuff, but then it's really dragged out with who's the family members for Malik and who the family members are for Toby. I'm just like, I don't care about it because you're not giving me enough to care about it. Like, I need to understand what made Malik's marriage collapse. Why did he lose his job? I know these are really simple, but these are the questions the film is putting towards me, which I don't want. All I want is an hour and a half action-filled martial arts movie. And yet I'm not. I'm getting dropped every now and again with Rick and Bob, having their little comedy moments, stood around eating snacks, and guy dressed as a cowboy. Mr. Lau, he's got a fucking army of fucking cyborgs. He's so annoyed that Toby has stolen this one, he's gonna send one after him. Fucking send 10. Because now you know that one isn't gonna do the fucking job. Send in fucking 10. It's not a great movie, but if you can get the shortened version, the hour and a half version, you'll probably find an hour and a half spare to sit down and be like, that's all right. But ultimately, no, avoid.
Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Where's the party at? I said, where's the party at? Where's the party at? So I can hit 'em up with a last type of impact. Where's the party at? Where's the party at? Where's the party at? So I can hype 'em up while you're down. Yeah, we went that. Time to get up and get down. Move to the sound and move around.
Time to blow. Time to blow?